guys, and welcome to the Planets and Problems podcast, the astrology podcast by two girls who are not astrologists. I'm Atalia.
And I'm Ayesha.
And I'm a Sagittarius.
And I'm a Virgo.
And today we are talking all things New Year.
Yeah, so we're going to be reflecting over the past year. We're going to be talking about manifesting in the new year. And we're going to be talking about astrological events coming up in the new year. So this is a kind of a New Year episode. It will be released a little bit before New Year, won't it?
Yeah. Get you ready.
Get you ready. Give you some time to
Not
think
leave
about
you
your
hanging.
goals.
Yeah.
And also to reflect on how good the last year has been.
Here's to 2023.
And here's to 2022.
And goodbye to 2022.
Yeah.
Hello 2023.
Yeah.
Good riddance.
Oh.
No, not to be fair. It's been a decent year.
Well,
Cheers.
should we get into it? Cheers. Should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Right, well, how's the last year been for you?
Do you know what? It's been a learning curve.
Right.
So I started off my year.
January 2022.
I went into this year with the mindset of this is just a year that's just gonna go by.
Yeah.
Like this isn't my year. This isn't last year.
Yeah.
This is just one of those that's just going to go by. Didn't quite work out that way. So kind of started off normal, you know, I was in my I'm still in my relationship, but with my current boyfriend, and we were living apart. We were both living with our parents. And then May came around and we now live together because I got kicked out of my house and I was officially homeless for a week. Wasn't living on the streets, luckily I had friends to take me in.
Yeah.
But we had to find somewhere very quickly for us to live. So yeah, now we live together. I've also been very focused, more focused than ever on my career this year, which I love, and I could never imagine not being focused on my career. Like some days, like I can't get through the day without, like at least just checking my emails and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just in a place that I didn't think I would be in because I'm living in a city that I never thought I'd live in now.
Yeah.
With my boyfriend, which I obviously did plan on living with him at some point, but not now, not this year. But it's happened, and I'm glad it happened this way.
So if you could go back to January, and if you told your January self this would be your life now,
yeah,
how would you feel? Like, what would you think? Would you believe them? Would you be shocked?
Well, essentially, I kind of had that because we saw the psychic in February who told me I wasn't going to be living at home.
Oh yeah.
And I basically just kind of like didn't even take it in proper because I was like, of course I'm still going to be living at home. Like, I've got no plans to move out.
Yeah. It's just one of them where you're just like, oh okay, but like you're not taking it seriously because you've not got plans to. Yeah.
But if I was going to go to myself at the start of this year and say, look, this is how your life is going to be, what was the question? How would I react? Or,
yeah, like what would you feel?
No, I think I'd be absolutely thrilled to have moved out.
Yeah.
And if I told them about how many more followers I was going to gain on TikTok, they'd probably pass out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. How about you? How's the last year been for you?
It has been a wild ride also. So I started off January 2022 in a relationship, in a house, a 3-bedroom house on a street full of old people with a dog. So it was very like settled type situation. But in all fairness, I wasn't happy. And I'd been having conversations with my partner at the time about our relationship over Christmas and stuff like that. So I wasn't happy at all. And then I spent the first few months of the year feeling really confused because I'd been in this relationship with this person that I'd mentally planned on marrying and starting a life with. And then I was just confused because I was like, well, if this isn't going to be my life, what is going to be my life? And there's the confusion, there's the hesitation, there's the uncertainty that comes with making a big life change like that. So then I got to April, the end of April. Well, I got before that. We had back and forth conversations about being together, not being together, me and my partner at the time. And then we moved out of the house because something in my intuition told me to move out of that house to get clarity. So we moved out separately, and this person then got a job abroad. And it's funny because I agreed to go with them. And you were like, do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
You were obviously very happy for me, and like you were always happy for me whatever I'm doing. Well, when it's good stuff. But what did you say?
I said, what are you referring to the time that I was like,
you know, about going abroad, like about
about you moving abroad? I said, well, like when we went to go see the psychic in February, I said, well, that's not what the psychic said.
Yeah. So the psychic didn't mention anything about me moving abroad, and she actually said that me and this person would split up around summertime, and I would find somebody new who had like was way more on my wavelength, would have the same sort of like mental energy, and would be really similar, and would have a lot of back and forth conversations. So obviously I thought I was moving abroad, but it's so funny because I literally would wake up in fits of panic at 6 a.m. after agreeing to go. I would be asleep and I would be 6 a.m. in the morning and I'd go and I would be like...
Were you just panicking about like the move and everything, or just like...
I honestly don't even know. But that was, to me, that's my gut telling me no. Anyway, we broke up. That happened on a random Wednesday at lunchtime.
Wasn't it a Tuesday?
I think it was a Wednesday, and then I found my flat on the Thursday.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Wednesday. Maybe it was a Tuesday, I can't remember, but I think it was a Wednesday.
Yeah, because I remember you called me at lunchtime.
Yeah, I called you like straight after it happened. And then, within 24 hours, I'd found my flat in Leeds, and I went to see it. So this is the Thursday I found the flat, and I went to see it on the Sunday, and then I moved in on the Friday. So within like basically a week on one day of finding the flat, I'd already moved my stuff there. And then obviously I met the person that I'm now in a relationship with, and it is just hilarious and
it's
fascinating
crazy.
and crazy, because if someone had told me in January that not only would you be living in a gorgeous flat in a city that you love, but you would also be with an amazing person that you're actually happy with, way happier than you've ever been with anyone else, I don't even know if I would have believed them. Like, I have no idea, because I would have been really excited, I would have felt better about my current situation, but I don't know if I'd have believed them, because it was just the way that my life's changed this year is absolutely, it's crazy, and I'm very happy, and I've had a fantastic 2022. It's had a lot of ups and downs. I also went through a surgery earlier this year as well, so that wasn't great. Like, I spent a lot of time in a severe amount of pain. So yeah, that wasn't, I say it wasn't serious, it was doing my tooth, so like, I'm not dying, but it still wasn't nice.
I just think, like, when you start messing about with crystals and manifestation and spirituality, just look out, because things can always change no matter what, but the pace that you can just be thrown into a completely different lifestyle is just like unfathomable. I shouldn't even try and pronounce that word. Unfathomable. Thank you.
But I think, I completely agree. I completely
started showing off, and now
I can't say normal words. I completely agree, because things can genuinely change overnight, and like I said, it shows from me one day being in a relationship that wasn't making me happy to 24 hours after the breakup finding a flat that I absolutely love and ending up in a city. And I think one thing I'm going to be taking into 2023 with me is being really open-minded, and rather than being like, I'm going to have goals for next year 100%, but I'm not going to have plans.
Okay.
I'll have plans for like, I want to go on this
And do you
holiday, I
know
want to go on
what?
this holiday.
I've never had a plan.
I don't know how much of a plan I had this year, but now I just 100% won't have a plan, and I'm going to be really open-minded as to where the year can go. Because if you keep that mind open, you are opening yourself up to opportunities and opening yourself up to that potential overnight change.
Yeah. I just think it's so good, and you know, people have criticised the fact that I've never had a plan, and sometimes it comes across as like laziness or not being ambitious, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because it makes you more open-minded. Like, people get really frustrated when they ask you like, well, what are you doing after school, what are you doing after sixth form, and you say I don't know. They want answers. And then same with like my career. Well, where is your career taking you next? I haven't planned that far ahead. Like, wherever it takes me.
You just
people
follow
don't want to hear that.
I think that you not having a plan is good, and I'm definitely gonna take that with me. I don't see it as laziness. I just see it as plans don't often go the way you want them to, and every single year in my 20s so far, I've done 8 years in my 20s, every single year has started off one way and ended another.
There's no point in having a plan.
There's no point. I literally can't, because especially like you're saying, you start messing with spirituality, crystals, like meditation, manifesting, all those things that you ask for you'll get, and you don't even realise, like, you think you want them so bad, but you don't realise how much your life will change to get the thing. Like, I couldn't have met this person that I've met if I'd not moved to Leeds. So my life had to completely disintegrate for me to get the thing that I've manifested. So yeah, I think 2023 we're going to be open-minded, aren't we? And just, we're going to go with it.
So
this actually leads me on to 2023 and what we're going to do in 2023.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you had an affirmation.
This is kind of an affirmation, it's just a long one. So here's what we're going to do in 2023. We are not going to take any shit. We're going to stop people pleasing and enter the pleasing ourselves era. We're going to stop worrying about people being uncomfortable and get comfortable with other people being uncomfortable with us.
Hear, hear.
We're going to show up for ourselves as ourselves, and this means sticking to routines we set and existing as the person we want to be rather than becoming the person we want to become. We're going to exist as them already. And basically, I feel like people on TikTok have been dissing people saying this. So basically, loads of people have been saying I'm entering my villain era on TikTok. And then you've got all the people on TikTok dissing people saying that. But those people that are saying they're entering the villain era are saying it because they have spent years people pleasing and doing things that other people want them to do and existing as a person that other people want them to exist as, because people don't want you to change. Friends don't really want you to change. They don't want you to be better. They want you to be the same. You know, they want to be comfortable with the person that you are. And for me, I'm done with it. I'm done people pleasing, and I'm done showing up and making people feel comfortable. I'm just gonna get comfortable with other
I'm sure there's a
people
book or something. There's a book or something. I've never read it, but it's something like The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And like that line alone, like, honestly, never ever let other people influence you.
100%. And I've spent a lot of time doing that, and it has not served me at all. I've spent time, even with social plans, we've talked about this a lot recently, like I don't really drink anymore, and people around me don't like that I don't really drink anymore and want me to just exist as this person that always gets drunk, blah blah blah. But I've got shit that I want to do. So no, I don't want to be drunk every weekend, but people don't like that. People don't want you to change. They don't want you to be different.
Exactly,
So you just need to be the person that you want to be, and basically don't give a fuck.
It's so much easier said than done.
I know.
That's why it is truly an art.
And this is why we're going into 2023 with this mindset, because we're leaving the people pleasing is being left in 2022. We're not doing it anymore. makes me want to actually cry thinking about that we're not doing it anymore, because I miss people pleaser. And yeah, I'm not pleasing anyone. I'm not even gonna please my dog. I am gonna please my dog.
Right.
I am gonna please my dog. So yeah, that was the affirmation. Did you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
23 is for me.
23 is for me. 23, you're gonna be 23.
22 was for you. 23
oh,
is for me.
I love that.
I just came up with it right now.
That is great.
I love rounding things off with a quote.
Yeah, that you've come up with.
My own.
Wait, is that a quote? Because you're going to be quoting.
Myself.
It was the first time you've said it. It's not a quote, is it?
Well, I said it in my head first.
It'll be a quote now.
Yeah.
Like now it is.
That'll go down in history.
2023 is for me and 2022 was for you. Or 2022 was for you.
2024.
We'll figure it out.
When we get to it.
We'll leave that. We don't know what 2024 is going to be yet, so let's just figure that out when we get to it.
Is for more.
More life, as Drake says. So we are actually going to talk to you a little bit about manifesting in 2023.
Okay.
Aren't we?
Yeah, what in particular did you want to go into?
I probably just wanted to give people a couple of ways to manifest, maybe a couple of ways that we've manifested this year that have worked.
Can you give me your favourite manifestation technique? One, go.
Scripting.
Okay.
So scripting, for anyone that doesn't know, well, this is my perception of it, that I might be wrong, but scripting, for anyone that doesn't know, is when you basically write down what you want, but not the let's write a letter to ourselves, and I'm not dissing anyone that does that. Do that if you want to do that. Scripting for me is having a thing that you want. So let's just use the example of, I want £5,000. That's a really easy example, but it can be anything. And writing it down over and over and over and over until you basically go into a trance. To the point where your handwriting's not even making sense and you can't even read what you're writing anymore. You're writing it hundreds and hundreds of times. You might even get to a point where you're just writing 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. And you go and you're literally almost hypnotized by this writing. You're like hyper focusing on what you're doing, and then you stop. When you decide to stop, could be at any point, let's not set a timer, and then you shut the book or you screw the paper up, you burn it, you do whatever you want with it, and then you don't think about it again. That is my favorite way to manifest. However, that's not what I've used this year, but first you can tell me your favorite way.
Mine isn't as interesting as that. Well, I guess all manifestation techniques are interesting, to be fair. I was going to say something about scripting, but I forgot what I was going to say. But I don't script. I can't say that my imagination is like bigger than most or anything, because I have no idea. But I love using my imagination. So visualization for me has always been number one. Like meditating, like shutting my eyes, seeing what I want, living it, feeling it, like hearing it, the whole thing, like literally putting myself in a state where I feel like I'm in that moment that I want right then and there. That's the one for me. Yeah,
so I would say that is the one that I've used this year.
Right.
So I've not done any scripting this year, but I have used visualization, and it is in a way of, I don't even know how conscious I was when I was doing it. So I spent a lot of time at the beginning of the year in the woods, crying, walking my dog, because I was so sad about the relationship that I was in and my life, and I didn't know what was going to happen next. And I would have my headphones on and be listening to music and thinking about the type of relationship that I would want, and thinking about what my life could be like, and visualizing not the person as in what they look like, but visualizing a type of relationship that I want. And I genuinely wasn't consciously doing it. It's just like, oh, what do you want? What would you want? And again, not on purpose, but I would listen to music going along with it, and I'd be like, oh, this is what I want it to be like. And I would listen to the same song. It's called, one sec, because it's pretty popular and it's popular on TikTok as well. It's by Mooney Long and it's called Hours and Hours.
Sing it.
Yours, mine, ours.
Oh yeah.
I could do this.
That's the one.
Right. I would listen to that song about 5 or 6 times on repeat on walk.
What, on purpose?
No, but I just loved it.
Oh.
And the song is basically about yours, mine, ours. I could do this for hours, sit and talk to you for hours, sit and look at you for hours, making love to you for hours. And it literally makes me shiver right now because the person that I've got in a relationship with this year that is exactly how I feel about them. As in, when we first met, we still do it now, but when we first met, we didn't watch TV together for like probably about 2 months of seeing each other because we just talk for hours and hours and hours and hours and have sex for hours as well, but that's its own thing. That's a story for you.
Me and my boyfriend actually have a song.
Do you?
Like, if it was like an actual love song, like it would probably be our like wedding song, but it's just not.
Oh, what song is it?
It's one particular line. Basically, me and my boyfriend were really into like career progress, making money, right?
Yeah.
And it's the Kanye West one, wait till I get my money right.
Ooh.
And then you can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
That's it, like, yeah, that's us.
People have been talking about, I love that song, people have been talking about Kanye West and that song and how like now he's got his money right, he's saying whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting.
Can't wait to be there.
Yeah, but so basically just back to manifesting, I used visualization as well without realizing. And the way, when I say it's without realizing, what I mean is, well, when I'm talking about that, it's a good way to do it because you detach. Because I'm not realizing, oh right, I'm manifesting now, let me manifest. Because I'm not even realizing I'm doing that. I get back from the walk and I have detached from it because I'm just going about the rest of my day. So I'm not realizing that I'm doing it. So obviously you can do it consciously, that's absolutely fine, but just leading on to the next thing, detachment. Yeah,
it's hard. Like, you can't be desperate. You just can't. You have to forget. You have to let it be with the universe.
A way to do that is by practicing gratitude. And what I mean by that is, yeah, you can say you want to detach from something, and then you practice gratitude for the life that you have now. So that is a good way to detach, because you're basically saying, I am so happy with what I've got, I don't need anything else.
Or even if you're not happy with what you've got, be grateful for what it is. You know, we all have life.
Oh no, so that's what I mean. Obviously, like, you might not be happy, but pretend you are. You know, find gratitude in small things.
Everyone can find 5 things that they're grateful for within their life.
Yeah, and it's about accepting where you are, and this is not going to be relatable to everyone, but it would be relatable to people similar to us, so I don't want to put this out there for everybody. But basically by being like, right, I am gonna, if my life didn't change one bit for the rest of my life, that is okay. And it's about having that mentality. And like I said, that's not going to be relatable for everybody because everyone's in different situations. But depending on what you're trying to manifest, depending on what your life is like, you can, so for example, you could do that, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You could sit and think, if my life didn't change one bit from now, I would be happy. And it is about having that pure acceptance of what your life is and being so grateful for it that you're not actually desperate for the thing, and that is how you detach. So anyone that's not sure how to do the detachment bit, try that.
Keeping distracted and forgetting about the specific thing that you've asked for.
And being grateful for what you want now.
But still working towards it.
Oh, 100%.
But say it's like, you know, the £5,000 that you said earlier. Don't be thinking like, oh, when am I going to get this £5,000? When am I going to get it? Just keep working towards it, but forget about that number. and before you know it, it'll be right there in front of you, and you'll be thinking, that was it.
Yeah. So, quickly.
Yes.
Let me see if I've got anything else, sorry, on my list of manifesting, because there's so many different ways that you can manifest, so we've just given you like our favourite ones. But is there anything specific that you can mention before we move on that you've manifested this year? It can be small.
It's got to be my TikTok following.
Right.
It's got to be. I actually wrote a list of my 2022 goals, and it was to have 35,000 followers by the end of this year.
Wow, and you're way higher than that.
Yeah. And the universe saw that and said, bitch, try again. Because now I've got over 80,000. It's looking like I might be at 100,000 by the time it's the end of this year.
Wow.
Which is just like more than I ever could have, like, well, of course I'd asked for it, but like, it's just insane. Like, that is something that I manifested. In fact, at first, I feel like when I wrote down 35,000, I was trying to be humble, but when I first started taking TikTok seriously, like, that 100k was in my head, because like 100k is like a big mark in TikTok for like brands and like making your next steps with that career. 100k was like the one that I really wanted, and that was the number that I would manifest. Then I kind of forgot about it. Then I was like, right, okay, start of the year, let me think, 35k, we'll try and aim for that. I hit that by April.
Wow.
I was at 50k by July, and now I'm at like over 85 k, which is just that I manifested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
It's so good.
What
It's so
about you?
good. Mine is literally so boring in comparison. But
well, mine's not crazy.
No. I know what I mean is, I guess it's good to have balance, but I think my year's been that hectic that I don't really feel like I've actually tried to manifest anything big. Obviously, as I've mentioned, I 100% manifested the relationship that I'm in. I always joke and say that I'm magic to my boyfriend. I didn't exist before me. So there's that, but also I've been manifesting small things, and I guess this just brings us up to one more manifesting technique that I can talk about. I've been manifesting small things using the law of assumption, which means like, if I think I've said it on an earlier podcast, if I make an assumption, whoever has to move, whatever has to move, it will become a fact. Now, it's so weird, but like I said, small things. So I'll give you an example. I saw this cream. It's a skin cream, it looks really good, it's about 20 quid, like it's not cheap, and I wanted it. And I knew, I was like, right, this is my cream, I want this cream. I put it in my Amazon basket and didn't buy it, because I was like, oh, it's £20, can I really justify that money? And then put it in my Amazon basket, and then 24 hours later, I walked into my flatmate's room, she was sat at her desk, and she had the cream in front of her. And I said, oh my God, I want that cream. I've been wanting that cream. And she handed it to me and said, you can have it. Right?
Wow.
I'm not even done, right? This happened again. Same thing happened with the book, Colleen Hoover, It Ends With Us. Right? I've been wanting that book for months. Everyone's been talking about it on TikTok. You might have heard about it. It's a really good book. I've read it now, but when I went to order it on Amazon, I ordered it, I actually placed the order, and then it changed the delivery date and said it wouldn't be there for like a month. And I was like, all right, I'm not waiting for a month for it. Like, why is it doing that? So I cancelled it. And then about a month later, I didn't think about the book after that. I picked up one of her other ones, and a month later, again, I walk into my flatmate's room, and there is It Ends With Us. And then she turned to me and said, wait, you give me Verity, the one you've read, and you can read this first. Again. It just came to me. The last one, but this has happened so many times this year. Happened so many times with my boyfriend, as in like things that I've thought about or want, it just like he just knows and it just appears. Really like basic one happened the other day. He got to my house and sat down, we stopped talking, it's Friday evening, and he goes, and I said, oh, I've been wanting a Coke all day, but I've not had a chance to go and get one because I was walking Nelly on my lunch, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, oh, wait one sec. And he just pulled out a bottle of Coke. He doesn't drink Coke. And he says, I don't know why, I just wanted to get Coke on the way. He doesn't drink Coke. He doesn't drink because he drinks. Well, he drink, like, yeah.
So he just picked up a drink he didn't want? Yeah, mate.
And we were talking about it with things with him because things like that happen with him all the time. And we start talking about how, like, maybe he's my vessel. Like, when I'm manifesting things, he's there. He's been invented to provide me with everything that I want.
Flatmate.
I'm a flatmate. So yeah, they're smaller things, but it just shows, I guess, the power that you have, because I'm getting to a point where I'm like, these aren't coincidences when it keeps happening. So put the thing in your damn Amazon basket, put the thing in your basket and assume that it's already yours. Even, right, you've ordered it. Like, think about it, the book, I ordered it. So I've even ordered it.
Yeah.
So that's the assumption, is because I've ordered it, I've already assumed it's mine. You've put it in the basket, so you've already assumed that it's yours.
Yeah.
And this is obviously with material things. Your brain has already made that assumption that it is yours. And it's weird because the book came to me at the same time the other book would have arrived. That's what I found. That's what was weird. It came at the same time. So yeah, basically use the law of assumption as well. I think that is the hardest one to use, because you really have to get into that mentality and believe that it's yours.
What I like to do, if you're someone that is like after something like a lot of money and you're trying to be careful and like try not to spend money, trying to save, and as a result of that you're really tight, like you don't like spending money on yourself, like you won't get yourself like the smallest little thing, what I've decided to start doing, because that's exactly how I am, I'll just see something. If I see a book that I really want and I usually wouldn't spend the money on it, I just get it myself, because that is me embodying the person that I'm gonna be. And I'm not saying, you know, go out and get yourself that Ferrari, because that's gonna break the bank. But if it's something where you're like, okay, I am just being tight with myself, like, you know, it's a tenner on a book, like it's not, you know, I can afford this, I'm just being tight. Yeah. Just do it, like embody the person that you want to be. Money goes and money comes back. Yeah. Like you literally have to get into that mindset of like, money ain't a thing. Energy flows. It's energy. Money is energy. Everything is energy. One day, and energy never like disappears. It just moves. Yeah. One day, I might want to be at a point in my life where money just isn't significant to me at all. Yeah. So that's how you literally got to start treating it. That's how you've got to. But you can do that with like love or self-confidence, like, and you can apply that to different things. Yeah. But money was just the example, because that's something that I've been through myself. Yeah, that's really good. I think that sounds good. Right, shall we just move on to the last section of the astrological events? I love this. Okay, so the small fortune, March 2nd. If there's a time to take a risk, that is the time. Ooh. Right? Yeah. If there's something you want, this is your time. So what's happening is, hold on. So Venus, Jupiter, conjunction with Aries. Right. Jupiter, planet of luck, great fortune. Yeah. Aries, ruled by Mars, or ruler of Mars, which round is it? I always forget. That's my dyslexia showing. Ruled by Mars, the planet of action. Okay. So that's what's happening during that time. So basically, if there's, well, obviously Venus and love, almost forgot about that one. So, especially if it's something like romantically,
Right.
during that time, it's your luck may be in for you.
Yeah, basically take action and then it will result in like luck, basically, because of Jupiter.
If you're thinking of texting that person, if you're thinking of getting on that plane, now is where luck is on your side.
Speaking of riding that D.
Right. I was gonna say, get down on one knee.
Oh, right.
You're thinking of riding the D. That if there's any risk in love that you're willing to take,
Yeah.
now is your chance.
Take it.
2nd of March, put it in your calendar.
Oh, I will.
Especially if you're an Aries.
Yeah.
Yourself. Take action.
And
okay.
And it's nice that you've got a specific date, because I don't have really specific dates, but
No,
I do have.
Yeah, it's around that time.
I have a few things. So, we're going to have apparently, this isn't the most positive start, right?
Mm.
You might want to start your goals in February instead of January.
I had a feeling this was coming because, sorry to interrupt, but
Go on.
these last few months have been shit for most people. Like, astrologically, no one's got anything great
Yeah,
towards
well,
the
all
end
the
of this
eclipses.
year. And I'm thinking, surely it's not just going to get to January and everyone's life is going to be great again.
No, it's not going to get to January.
So,
Everyone's life's going to be great.
Go ahead.
We've got 2 retrogrades at the start. We've got Mars and Mercury. So basically, the way people are talking about it online is you might want to take January to rest and think about your goals, but maybe start them in February. Or start them now, because obviously we're releasing this podcast a little bit early before New Year's. If you start them early, then you can get a bit of a head start. But the other idea is to start them in February instead of January, because you might start them and not feel like you're getting anywhere. So if everything's slowing down because of the retrogrades, you don't want to be starting the goals. And I'm not saying that to make people unmotivated. I'm saying that as like, you don't want to feel like shit when you get to the end of January and everything's gone wrong. You'd rather maybe just start in February.
Basically what we're doing is celebrating on the 31st of Jan.
Yes, we are.
If anything, this video's come out way too early because the New Year's ain't here just yet.
And then we've also got Saturn entering Pisces for the first time in 30 years.
Nice.
And do you know what that means?
Go on.
That is the official start of my Saturn return. Because my Saturn return is while Saturn is in Pisces.
Wow.
So I needed a big breath before I start talking about this, because your Saturn return, anyone that doesn't know, obviously you can Google it. If you want us to do a whole episode on it, we can. Maybe we will at some point while I'm going through it. But it's basically when Saturn goes back to the place that it was when you were born, which Saturn was in Pisces when I was born, and because it obviously stays there for a certain amount of time. And it is the opportunity to learn a lot of lessons. And what I always say about Saturn returns is that if you are not on your right aligned path, it shoves you onto it. And a lot of things come into fruition that you've either been working on, or you start things that you've been working on. Now, obviously that is particularly special for me because it's my Saturn return, knowing that certain things are probably going to happen over the next few years. I can't be asked with any more life changes. I'm hoping that, you know, the things that I've done already have put me on a more aligned path. So if anything, it's just going to grow, not throw me off onto a different path, be like, that's very Derbyshire of me, isn't it? Oh, you're gonna have to live in Australia or something, like, I don't know. But what it also means, just for everybody in general, which is again is interesting from my perspective, is that obviously a big thing in Pisces is that there's a lot of creativity. So there is gonna be a lot of creativity while Saturn stays in Pisces. And
they're gonna get creative with these lessons.
Yeah, they're gonna get creative with the lessons.
That's what I'm getting from that.
But again, just from my perspective, anyone else that might have their Saturn return as well, it's interesting because I I haven't thought of myself as a particularly creative person my whole life, but I've got more creative as I've got older, and I'm starting to feel more creative as I go along.
I couldn't imagine growing up as a child and not being creative.
I think all children are creative, but I think it kind of gets shoved out of you as you're told to start thinking about careers and stuff.
Do you think?
Yeah, because you're never really told to, they're like, oh, be a doctor, be a teacher, be a policeman, but they're never like, oh, be an artist, be a singer, be a, you know, do creative things. You're not really told to do that sort of stuff, so I think it gets shoved out of you. And I think unless you're really determined, or you've got like this, you know, amazing talent that's shown, people kind of put you off. But actually, at the end of the day, anything that you practice, you can become good at. Remember that.
Basically, I just couldn't imagine not being a creative person.
Well, I can't now, because I think I locked mine down at a certain part of my life for certain reasons, and now I've kind of got back in touch with my, I guess, inner child that was creative, and now I feel creative. But it's funny that it's happening at a time that Saturn is going into Pisces. It's my Saturn return. People are becoming creative.
Bring it on, that's a nice one.
What that also means, though, for the collective, for everybody, is just that people, wait, not that, let me just move on to this, because for the collective, everybody's going to become more creative, but also Pisces represents a lot of like religion and spirituality as well. Saturn going into Pisces, basically a lot more people will be waking up to spirituality.
Yeah.
And I think we've had that over the past few years anyway.
Yeah, majorly.
But more people will be waking up to the kinds of stuff that we are talking about on this podcast, and a lot of people are talking about. More people will become interested in that and wake up.
Yeah, and I'm not really a political person, but I think it's so interesting to think about where things are going to go, especially in this country, America, with more people waking up and saying, excuse me, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Or what are we doing? None of this makes sense.
What are you doing to us?
Yeah.
What is going on in the House of Commons?
Basically, yes. And the last thing that I have is that we're going to have a Venus retrograde in July, and basically Venus is going to want us all to love each other. So I think we're going to have a very...
That'll be beautiful. In summer.
Yeah, very loving summer. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So stay single until then, because you might meet the wrong person. But yeah, that is it for the year.
All?
I think it will be well, there's loads more, but I just picked out the things that I thought were really interesting, because I didn't want to go on for an hour. We said it's not an astrology podcast. Well, not a boring astrology podcast.
Yeah, we could go on forever, but this needs to be entertaining for you guys too.
It does, but I also just want to say well done us, because 2022, coming to the end of 2022, we've talked about starting a podcast from about July 2021, and in 2022 we actually did it. Obviously people don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, but it took us ages to organise, to plan. We came up with the whole concept, all of it.
Something the psychic told me as well about this podcast. Oh, just that she said that I was going to go into radio.
Yeah.
Which is, this is probably the closest thing.
Yeah.
She was quite old, so I don't think she knew what a podcast was, but this is probably the closest thing.
Yeah.
Well, not even that she was that old, she just wasn't quite with the times.
No, she's a psychic, she's spiritual, she's away.
Yeah. So, but it's funny that there was nothing about career was pointing towards like radio.
I wonder if there was that much love stuff that came up on mine that nothing else came up, because there was that much going on from that perspective. But yeah, I think we've done
more on that next year.
Yes. I think we've done really well, and I think we should be proud of ourselves for doing this many episodes and spending all that time planning it and actually getting it out. Like, that is a big achievement that we've actually got us out.
And thank you guys for being a part of it with us as well.
Yes, thank you.
And Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, and we're really excited for 2023 and what we bring and the podcast in 2023, and let us know any topics that you want to hear in 2023. We will talk about them. Drop us an email at planetsandproblems@gmail.com, planetsandproblems@gmail.com. It will be in the description. Also, thank you very much for listening and watching, and there will be another episode out before 2023. So this isn't the last episode of the year. We will be releasing
we'll see you
one
again
after Christmas, before the new year. Just something for you to enjoy in that time. But yeah, this has been Planets and Problems manifesting episode. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.